Hello and welcome to another Top 10 Most Inspiring Women interview. Today I'm going to be interviewing Erica Jones, also known as E.Lizé, the artist and local, I'm going to go ahead and say local celebrity. She's not from Delaware, but she's done some pretty cool stuff in Delaware. And so we're going to talk a little bit more about that today. So to get started, Erica, I'm actually going to ask you to give a shout out to a woman or women who you consider to be your mentors.
Well, I first have to give a shout out to my mother. You know, she is the OG, and then her OGs are my grandmothers, and also somebody I consider my big sister. Her name's Anita. She's definitely helped me grow a lot as a woman over the past almost 4 years. So,
yeah,
those four are definitely, I would say, are my top mentors.
Yeah, can't get anywhere without family.
Yes.
Okay, well, go ahead and tell us a little bit about what you do, your artwork, and anything you want to tell us about your career too.
Well, I'm a visual artist. My focus is in murals and large paintings. I also am an MC. I've been rapping for about 10 years on and off now. And I sell merchandise. I have my own brand of apparel. You see here, I can see that very well.
Can you tell us more about, I guess, the art and what inspires your artwork?
I would say my life and the things that's been going on in the world. Also do a lot of research. I'm very big into like just history in general. I guess usually when it comes to more of like media and different, entertainers or artists that you don't really hear about too often or never really got the credit that they deserve. So I try to highlight those people, or even everyday people. It doesn't have to be celebrities of any sort, but just I kind of like to give them a spotlight too, because we're all, the people, whether people realize it or not, that the general population pretty much says, what's yay or nay, as far as what's accepted and what's not. So,
Giving an example of of a way someone didn't get credit for their work and how you would highlight that.
Well, I'll say, I guess I'll discuss it now. Last year, Joe Del Tufo and Jonathan Whitney and E.Lizé Jarvis, they had come together to do a series of murals around the city of Wilmington, where the walls were boarded up, I think, after the George Floyd riots got out of hand. And they asked me to paint something, and, they kind of gave me free reign. They were like, whatever you want to do. So I had a lot of time to think about it. Excuse me. It took them a little bit of time to get back to me. But I chose to do a painting of Oluwatoyin Salau. I don't know how to pronounce her last name correctly, but she was a 19-year-old Black Lives Matter activist down in Tallahassee, Florida, that went missing, and then she was found slain a few days after that. She had went to Twitter and spoke about some sexual assault she was dealing with, and that she was in danger. She feared for her life. And like a few days after that, they found her with, there was an elderly woman actually that they were both found slain. And in heights of the George Floyd riots and everything, so like part of it got overshadowed. It was only a couple months after she had been murdered that I chose to do it. And then same thing with Breonna Taylor. I feel like, it brought awareness, but it was very commercialized, and a lot of her name was used to collect some sort of gain or profit, which I didn't really appreciate. So in addition to painting Oluwatoyin, I also wrote like the names of like between 400 to 500 Black women and girls that had also been murdered over the course of time that didn't get proper just due or any sort of backing. So I just really wanted to give them a platform and let them know they hadn't been forgotten and their names are heard also.
Tell us about a project or accomplishment that you consider to be the most significant in your career.
Honestly, I would say that one because that's when things started to take off. There was a lot of, I had several different people reach out to write articles, and I've talked with Joe and I've talked with Jonathan. We just keep in touch here and there, and they told me that about other people that have reached out about potentially, exhibiting the work and doing other things involving it. And currently, I think the original article that was written in Delaware had been syndicated to like 40 other newspapers across the country, which I thought was wild. I was like, I didn't think much of it at the time. I just was like, this was something I felt like I needed to do. Like I called out of work and everything because I was working at the time, and I was just like, yeah, I'm not going back until I finish this. And I finished it in a week on Alua Toyin's 20th birthday. She would have been 20 that day. So I finished it then, and it was just like, it was a very surreal moment for me, especially because that was my first like public mural. I had never done something like that before, and I did it in a medium I'm not 100% comfortable with. I did it in acrylic, something I don't use often. I have been lately, like ever since I did that, but it definitely pushed me beyond my limits. So I would definitely say that one.
Do you mind telling us about a turning point in your career or an obstacle and how you pushed through it?
Well, I would say now that I'm in my later 20s, I would say like my early to mid 20s, I found myself like, I knew I was capable of doing great things and doing, things that could impact and change things for a lot of people. But I've always been the type that's been focused on taking people with me and making sure people are building and growing with me. And that set me back a lot because I put so much emphasis and thought into other people. Like I was getting lost in other people. And it took some pretty rough experiences with some people for me to realize like I really don't need this, and everything that I said I was going to do, I can just do it myself, and I will. So once I like had to cut some people off, as cliche as that sounds, that's just what had to happen. Once I separated myself from people, I just really I let that pain and anguish fuel me to do what I needed to do for myself. And it paid off tremendously in a lot of ways. So it was just about just finally buckling down and doing what I needed to do for me because nobody else was going to do it for me. And I realized everybody can't go with you.
How do you define success?
I would say being able to do what it is you've always set out and love to do, and being able to sustain from that. And that doesn't necessarily mean, you're filthy rich or the most famous person on earth or anything like that. But just, I know a lot of people with small businesses that are thriving and they can live day to day with doing what they love to do. I feel like that success is not measured by money or fame, but stability.
Tell us a surprising tidbit about yourself that most people don't know.
I don't know if this is really constituting as interesting, but I am very like reserved. As much as I do these interviews or talk to people and do things, I'm not somebody you can just like walk down the street and be like, oh yeah, there's Erica. Like you will hardly see me at all unless it's something planned or scheduled. I'm very like recluse. And it's at a point now I'm like, all right, you're gonna have to like open up a little bit more because a lot of people are wondering where you are, what are you doing? Because I haven't I haven't released anything in well over a year, and I know people are waiting, and it's just like as much as I like doing it, the whole like aspect of being available to people so much is like, it doesn't sit well with me. So I just kind of like go into this bubble until I'm ready to come back out. And I try to keep it enough where I'm interacting with people, but not enough where they have too much access.
If you could go back and share some wisdom or some advice with your younger self, what would that be?
I would say to know who you are and thrive in that. I've been doubting myself for so many years, and I'm starting to finally see my worth and my light a little bit more. And it's like, other people see it too. And if they see it before you, or they see that you don't know, they're going to try to take advantage of that and keep you at bay, just so you don't do too much better than them, or y'all just stay in the same boat. Like, a lot of people don't want to see you doing better than them. So I would just say, know who you are, remain confident in that. Because I could say I'm gonna be confident, but if somebody comes in and starts, taking jabs, like, will that rattle me, or will that be like, okay, whatever, you know what I'm saying? So it's just more about just staying confident and just keep going no matter what. And you're going to mess up, but don't let that deter you from not doing anything at all. And one thing at a time, because I'm notorious for trying to do so much that I end up doing nothing. So just stay confident, one thing at a time, and don't be deterred from failure, because failure leads to success if you keep going.
Okay. Well, tell people where they can find more about you. If they want to get connected, or I don't know, buy some of your artwork or something.
Well, I do have a website. It is www.elizeofficial.com. That's ELIZE official.com. My Instagram handles are all the same, but varying characters. So my Instagram is e.lizeofficial, all one. My Twitter is E.Lizé_official. My YouTube is E.Lizé. You can put that in and put in The Arrival. I have a music video with Chris Rivers up, and the rest of my music. So yeah, that's pretty much it. If you put in E.Lizé on Google, the way I spell it and stylize it, everything should come up.